recalls 76,000 compact flashcards to be used with the precinct count optical scan machine. Malacanang says there's no reason for President Gloria Arroyo to rush the appointment of a new Chief Justice. The Quezon City Regional Trial Court junked Senator Richard Gordon's petition for a temporary restraining order on pre-election surveys. The U.S. Department of Justice arrests a suspect in the foiled bombing attempt in New York. This is our PM News Watch. I'm Joyce Burton-Titular with Melissa Hecolea and Rima Chanco. The Quezon City Regional Trial Court has junked the petition of Senator Richard Gordon to stop two survey firms from publishing pre-election surveys. Gordon filed a civil case against Plus Asia and Social Weather Stations. He claims the surveys mislead and cause a bandwagon effect on voters. But Judge Bayani Vargas says the court has no jurisdiction over the case and that the Commission on Elections has authority over the issue. He says the Supreme Court has also invalidated the provisions of the Fair Elections Act that ban pre-election surveys.
Independent presidential candidate Nicanor Perlas is determined to change Philippine politics if he wins this year's elections. Perlas, who is known for his track record in protecting the environment, has proposed 6 pillars for effective governance. This special report from Bestie Canisi.
100 days. This is how much time presidential candidate Nicanor Perlas needs to demonstrate what he calls political will. Perlas says if elected into office, he will change the face of Philippine politics. Like most other candidates, Perlas promises to eradicate corruption in the country.
Since I was young, I've been challenging the system. It's not enough to be honest. You have to understand how systems function, how systems are manipulated, the power structure. If you don't understand this, even though you're honest, you're going to be manipulated.
His desire for political change was realized in 1996 when he convinced then-President Fidel V. Ramos to use sustainable development as one of the frameworks of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, or APEC. Perlas and Ramos then convinced the 18 heads of state of APEC to adopt the new paradigm instead of the original plan to advance trade liberalization in Asia.
That was major kasi the U.S. did not want that. They wanted to do the usual model of radical liberalization, which, by the way, has brought about the world financial crisis that we see today.
Even with his involvement in politics, Perlas has never actually held public office. Perlas was born on January 10, 1950. He took up agriculture in Xavier University, Cagayan de Oro, and went to graduate school in the University of the Philippines in Los Baños, Laguna. He's been working as a consultant for various global organizations, including the United Nations, ever since. Perlas is a recipient of the Right Livelihood Award, also known as the Alternative Nobel Prize. He also received the United Nations Environmental Program Global Award for his work in protecting the environment. Greenpeace recently named him as the greenest presidential candidate. But even with his track record in safeguarding the environment, Perlas says he has a lot more to offer. He proposes 6 pillars of governance. First is to enhance the quality of life by eradicating poverty. Second, to advance moral and effective governance. Third, to protect the environment. Fourth is the mobilization of civil society. Fifth is to improve the education system. And finally, to promote visionary initiatives from all fields. Perlas says his platform of new governance is getting him more and more supporters, something that is not quite reflected in most popularity surveys. But Perlas assures with or without the presidency, he will continue doing his work to better the lives of Filipinos.
This is what distinguishes me from other presidential candidates. My campaign promises are not campaign promises. I've already done this. and I will continue to do this whether I'm political office or not.
Bestie Conices, RPN News.
The election season will undoubtedly leave behind tons of garbage in the form of campaign paraphernalia. The Eco Waste Coalition and the Miss Earth Foundation say this presents an opportunity for everyone to take up recycling. Stephanie Onquico reports.
A new set of government officials will be elected in a few days. While they will be busy preparing for their official takeover on June 30, the country will have to bear with discarded campaign materials, which most likely will end up in dump sites. The Eco Waste Coalition says garbage collection usually doubles during the election season. If this is not alarming enough, records show most of discarded campaign materials are even burned. Burning greatly contributes to greenhouse gas emissions, which aggravate the effects of climate change. To address this, Eco Waste Coalition, together with Miss Earth Foundation, launched the 3R Drive. 3R stands for Repurpose, Reuse, and Recycle. This Philippines Earth 2010 Chris Sykes says Filipinos should use their imagination and creativity to turn discarded campaign materials into reusable objects.
Sayang people ang daming nagamit ng mga resources, ng mga materials, the papers, posters, plastic. We can do something about it. Kaya kung nagdami yan, some people would think of burning these things or ibabaon lang nila, which is not healthy for the environment. We need to do something about it.
Campaign paper flyers and posters can be made into hats, sketch pads, bags, and even a flower vase. It can also be a notebook cover, paper bag, or an envelope. Plastic posters, meantime, can be sewn into aprons or be made into a kite. On the other hand, tarpaulins can be transformed into fashionable reusable bags, placemats, posters, or even a cabinet organizer. Eco Waste Coalition's Ray Palaligan says discarded campaign materials can also be an additional source of income. A plastic poster sells for 8 pesos per kilo, while a paper and cardboard poster sells for 1 peso per kilo. A brown sample ballot meantime sells for 2 pesos per kilo, while a white sample ballot sells for 10 to 12 pesos per kilo.
Kung tutusin, pagmalikhain tayo, kaya natin gumawa ng mga material sa produkto mula sa mga old campaign materials na nakikita natin sa paligid natin.
Eco Waste Coalition Miss Earth Foundation says aside from reduced garbage, reusing and recycling campaign discards can help reduce greenhouse gas emissions and other air pollutants. It will also raise the public's environmental consciousness.
After the May elections, environment groups are calling on the public to remember the 3 R's after collecting discarded campaign materials: repurpose, reuse, and recycle. Stephanie Onquico, RPN News. 3 men end up in jail in Mandaluyong for alarm and scandal. The report when RPN News Watch returns.